Welcome, everyone. I would like to present you a brief overview of some of the findings from the project based on the abstract submitted for the Dissolution Research Presentation Europe Forum. This presentation is entitled Two and Three Components amorphous dispersions on simvastatin, prepared by spray drying and co-precipitation, solid state and solubility characteristics. This project was undertaken because approximately 70% of new chemical entities exhibit poor solubility, which poses significant challenges for drug development. Oral dosage form like tablets, preferred for the convenience of use, might face issues with absorption in the gastrointestinal tract due to the poor solubility of the active pharmaceutical ingredients, APIs. So to eliminate risk associated with the suboptimal dosage uptake, the enhancements in the solubility of APIs is crucial to enhance their bioavailability and therapeutic efficacy. Amorphous form of these APIs can offer a higher solubility compared to their crystalline counterparts due to their disordered molecular arrangement. However, amorphous API can be physically unstable, leading to recrystallization over time. To address this, amorphous solid dispersions, ASDs, are utilized, where the API is dispersed within a polymeric matrix, enhancing both solubility and physical stability. As the manufacturing technique might influence the physicochemical characteristics of the ASDs, in this project, properties of powder generated by two different solvent-based methods were compared. Spray drying technique, which is already a well-established method in the pharmaceutical industry, involves atomization of a liquid feed into fine droplets, followed by a rapid evaporation process of solvents and formation of dry particles. However, some of the drawbacks of this technique are associated with a highly expensive equipment, possible downstream properties of powders, and requirement for the compounds to be soluble in the volatile solvents and to not be heat sensitive. To address the limitations of the spray drying process, co-precipitation has emerged as a prospective alternative due to possible enhanced downstream processing properties of the produced powders and more common access to the equipment used in the process. The co-precipitation process, the supersaturation, um, triggering precipitation is induced by interaction of two miscible solvents. In one of these, API and polymer are well soluble, and in the other, they should be both poorly soluble. This presentation demonstrates results obtained with simvastatin as a model molecule, which is a poorly soluble drug belonging to the statin group of medicines. In the formulation, it was dispersed with PVPVA, which was used as a polymeric matrix. At the fixed spray drying and co-precipitation process parameters at which the binary systems were generated, I demonstrated that ternary amorphous systems composed of API polymer silica can be also co-processed, resulting in amorphous powders. To this end, I used three model silica grades characterized by different particle size and porosity. While in the spray drying process, only the feed suspension composed of soluble API and polymer and insoluble silica in a solvent stream was processed, both feed solution and feed suspension were investigated in the co-precipitation process. This presented process scheme demonstrated either addition of dissolved API polymer in a good solvent and addition to the vessel filled with anti-solvent with suspended silica, or addition of all soluble and non-soluble components in a good solvent to the vessel filled with the anti-solvent. While the spray drying process parameters were adapted from the literature, co-precipitation process for simvastatin and PVPVA was developed in this project. The EasyMax reactor with 100 ml vessel equipped with temperature probe, overhead stirrer, and controlled by the software was used in the co-precipitate generation, followed by vacuum filtration and drying. All powders underwent solid state characterization and demonstrated extra amorphous character until the 40% track loading. At the same time, the limit of crystalline content detection was approximately estimated at 5%. This analysis was followed by differential scanning calorimetry, which further confirmed the amorphous character of generated powders and also indicated the values of glass transition temperatures of the composite materials. The predicted values of glass transition temperature, according to Gordon-Taylor equation, depicted by parameters such as weight fractions of components, root densities, and individual glass transition temperatures of components were in line with experimentally measured ones, indicating possible lack of interactions between components at a molecular level. As presented by scanning electron microscopy, co-precipitation process resulted in a more irregularly shaped big particles when compared to the spray dry, which was also observed in all ternary systems. As further confirmed by laser diffraction analysis, co-precipitates were an order of magnitude larger than spray-dried particles, regardless of the silica addition. Moreover, in ternary systems, there was a more discernible division between spray-dried API polymer particles and silica particles, relative to more uniformly mixed co-precipitated systems. It was especially observed as a trimodal distribution in spray-dried systems with siloid 3050. Interestingly, despite larger particle size of binary co-precipitate, the increase in bulk density was not determined in binary system, but was more significant in all ternary powders, which might stem from large differences in size between API polymer particles and silica particles. In this study, Carr's compressibility index was used as the indicator to determine the flowability differences between powders. Co-precipitates demonstrated lower values of Carr compressibility index relative to spray-dried powder, signifying better flowing properties of powders for both binary and ternary systems. Dynamic solubility of XRG amorphous powders was assessed in phosphate buffer at pH 6.8 at 37 degrees Celsius using a microdisc profiler with optic fibers. Despite higher fractions of hydrophilic polymer in binary systems than in ternary, all presented formulations attained up to approximately threefold supersaturation over the crystalline raw API. Most of co-precipitated and spray-dried samples demonstrated similar concentration at the end of 2 hours experiment. There were a couple of exceptions to this general profile where co-precipitated systems obtained lower concentration compared to their spray-dried equivalents at the end of the 2-hour study. These systems were composed of siloid 3050 with 10% of simvastatin loading, as well as a system with 40% of simvastatin loading and aerosol 200. Moreover, the rapid increase in simvastatin concentration, followed by the fast decrease, was observed in co-precipitated systems at 10% drug loading, and in ternary spray-dried systems at 30% drug loading with aerosol 200. However, these systems, they still maintain the supersaturated character. To further investigate the solid-state character of the powder's residue collected from the dissolution vessel, we used mostly XRG technique, which presented amorphous character for all systems, and it was in line for results obtained from the dynamic solubility study for the majority of the systems. To further elucidate the fast increase, followed by fast decrease in concentration, the polarized light microscopy was used in some model systems. There, however, the recrystallization was not obvious, as the birefringence was observed in spray-dried systems at low drug loading, 10%, which, however, was indeed also demonstrated in the dynamic solubility studies, where those systems demonstrated lower concentration at the end of the study relative to other systems. To sum up, the key findings from this project are that these two solvent-based techniques can be applied for the generation of binary and ternary ASDs with silica. However, these powders can be characterized by different properties, such as mainly particle size morphology, specific surface area, dancing properties. The addition of silica indeed facilitated powder handling in the co-precipitation process, regardless of the addition as a fixed suspension or solution, at the same time not negatively impacting properties of generated powder. I would like to thank you all very much for listening to this presentation. Thank you.